Hey, it's Corey.
I get a lot of questions about the difference between Disneyland
And the Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World.
The parks are very similar.
And very different at the same time.
This week we're going to talk about 5 things that are the same.
Yet, not.
Let's start with the obvious, the castles. Here at Disneyland in Anaheim, California, you have Sleeping Beauty Castle. 77 feet tall. It was designed to be quaint, and it sure is.
When Walt Disney World opened in 1971, it was anchored by a much larger castle, Cinderella Castle, which stands at 189 feet tall. In fact, of all 6 Disney castles around the world, only one is taller, and it's also the newest. Enchanted Storybook Castle at Shanghai Disney Resort in China measures 8 feet taller at 197 feet tall.
The interiors of Walt Disney World and Disneyland's castles couldn't be any more different either.
Sleeping Beauty Castle at Disneyland is very small inside and features the Sleeping Beauty Castle walkthrough, which, as its name implies, is simply a walk through the castle's interior where beautiful vignettes tell the story of Sleeping Beauty. The inside of the castle here at Walt Disney World is massive. It contains the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, Cinderella's Royal Table, and the Walt Disney World Dream Suite. Disneyland's Dream Suite is located in New Orleans Square, home to our next attraction, Pirates of the Caribbean.
Pirates of the Caribbean here at Disneyland is a beloved attraction, mostly because it was the last attraction that Walt worked on before he died in 1966. The attraction here opened in 1967, just 3 months after Walt Disney's death.
And then at the Magic Kingdom in 1973. There are several differences between the East Coast and West Coast versions of the attraction, starting with location. While Disneyland's Pirates of the Caribbean is located in New Orleans Square, Walt Disney World's is located in Adventureland.
And the differences don't stop there. The entrances and queues of both attractions set up the pirate story completely differently. The queue here at Disneyland in Anaheim, California is mostly outside, and the ride snakes right through the front of the building to the loading area. Here in Florida, the setting is a Spanish fort. You work your way through the fort and down into the catacombs where you start your adventure. There's also 2 load platforms here in Florida, which speed up wait times considerably. Once on board your boat, the differences continue. Disneyland's version of the attraction is more intricate and noticeably longer, featuring more drops and a few extra scenes. The main reason is the location of the show building for California's attraction. While you board the attraction in the park, the actual attraction takes place outside the berm, so the boats have to drop to go underground and then climb back up at the end of the attraction. In Florida, the low water table, abundance of space, and the lack of a true berm make the extra drops and scenes unnecessary. The result is a shorter attraction. Now, Disneyland may win this one, but there's another Adventureland attraction that beats its Disneyland counterpart hands down. I realize that my opinion on this may not be a popular one. I mean, we are talking about Walt's favorite attraction, but the Jungle Cruise here at Walt Disney World is just better. When Walt built Disneyland, he started construction 1 year before the park opened. Now, that's not a long time to build a place like Disneyland, and it's certainly not a long time when you want to build a fully realized jungle right in the middle of it. But thanks to the ingenuity of Walt's Imagineers, Walt got his jungle. But when Walt Disney World was built, the Imagineers learned from their mistakes, and the jungle around the attraction was far more realized on opening day. They even expanded the attraction to make it far less cramped. I mean, let's be honest, the Amazon River's not 15 feet wide, is it? The result is a gorgeous environment complete with more elephants, a crashed plane, and even more water to see the backside of. By far, the best feature of the Florida attraction is the temple. You really must see it to believe it. It is beautiful. Disneyland's Jungle Cruise is just one example of how being the first doesn't always mean being the best. Another example sits just across the hub in Tomorrowland. Pop quiz, which came first? Was it Walt Disney World's Space Mountain, or was it Disneyland's Space Mountain? After the success of Matterhorn bobsleds at Disneyland, plans were made to build a space attraction using the same ride system in Tomorrowland. After Walt's death, all of the company's assets and attention were focused on Walt Disney World. After it was decided that a Matterhorn attraction would not fit in Florida's Fantasyland, Imagineers went back to that idea they had for Disneyland called Space Mountain. Using virtually the same ride technology as Disneyland's Matterhorn,
The double-tracked Space Mountain opened at Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom in January of 1975.
Space Mountain was a huge hit here at Walt Disney World, so plans began almost immediately to bring Space Mountain to Disneyland.
A much smaller version of Space Mountain opened as part of a $20 million expansion just 2 years later in 1977. Space Mountain here at Disneyland has a much smaller footprint because of space limitations. The result is, in my opinion, a much better attraction. If for no other reason than at Walt Disney World, the cars are toboggan-style seats like the Matterhorn, whereas at Disneyland, you actually get to sit next to your ride buddy instead of between their legs. Makes for better ride photos, don't you think? Oh, and speaking of epic ride photos, is there any that can match that of Splash Mountain?
Splash Mountain, which began construction here at Disneyland in 1987, was originally going to be called the Zippity River Run. Cool name, right? Then Michael Eisner, the then CEO of the Disney company, thought he could use the ride to promote the movie Splash. Needless to say, that plan fell through. Splash Mountain opened here at Walt Disney World in 1992, almost 3 years after the attraction at Disneyland. The East Coast and West Coast versions of the attraction are very similar. The only real difference, other than some theming, is that the troughs here are smaller due to space constraints, so the seating is toboggan style, where you sit in front of your party instead of next to them. Much like my complaint about Space Mountain here at Walt Disney World, I think I'd rather sit next to my friends instead of between their legs. Not to mention, the theming here at Walt Disney World is far superior to the Disneyland attraction.
Whether you're visiting the Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World here in Florida,
or Disneyland Resort here in California, you feel like you're in the same place.
But when you start to dig into the details, you'll realize that each park has a magic all its own.
Make sure you subscribe and share. Follow us on Twitter at TweetNoMidnight or No Midnight Blog on Instagram or Facebook, or just head over to the website nomidnightblog.com.
Until next week, live your life as if there's no midnight.